So I actually think KHAMZAT CHEMIEV's rise in the UFC, a lot of people are saying that if he fights Gilbert Burns, like a lot of people think he will, he's probably going to get a title shot next. And I'm racking my brain. I'm starting to think, like, is there anyone else that's had such a meteoric rise in the sport? And the only fighter that I can actually think of is Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar, within 3 fights, I think he already won a UFC title. And obviously, I think he lost his first fight against Frank Mir, and then eventually beat Randy Couture and won the title. And then he rematched Frank Mir and beat him again. Beat him, getting revenge for his loss to him. But KHAMZAT CHEMIEV, the thing about Brock Lesnar is that Brock Lesnar was already famous before he got into the UFC. So to some extent, he did get preferential treatment. Obviously, because he brought a lot of hype and attention into the UFC because of his WWE wrestling. He was in a sense leapfrogged into a position where he did win the title. Obviously, he does have a collegiate wrestling background, which is quite common with top level fighters in the UFC. So he wasn't a complete novice. He wasn't like completely off his rocks when he got into the UFC and managed to win a title. But at the same time, because of the fact that he did have a following before he even got into the UFC, to some extent his rise, even though it's meteoric, it's not as impressive as KHAMZAT CHEMIEV. Because KHAMZAT CHEMIEV, the main thing he's known for is MMA. He's not known to be a wrestler or anything else. He's not built his name in any other field apart from MMA. And for him to have the rise that he's had, within 1 fight he might get a title shot. He might be fighting Kamaru Usman. If he beats Gilbert Burns, he might be next for the title if he does fight Gilbert Burns next. And regardless of what you think about him, I'm not his biggest fan, based on his personality. But you gotta admit that that's a meteoric rise in the sport, and I can't think of anyone else that's had such a rise. Even Conor McGregor, he had to win 2 Cage Warrior titles, and then he got into the UFC. There's a famous story about how he never made it into the UFC at one point. And then after that, obviously he had to go on, I think he was the Ultimate Fighter series, and he had to go through several spots, and he had to fight several good fighters like Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier, Chad Mendes, and then eventually he got a title shot against Jose Aldo, beat him and won the title. But with KHAMZAT CHEMIEV's only had 4 fights. He's not even been hit that much, and he's about to fight. He might fight Gilbert Burns next. If he beats Gilbert Burns, and then he fights Kamaru Usman and beats him, I mean that's incredible. That's an absolutely incredible rise. I've not seen a UFC fighter rise so quickly, who's only known for UFC. I'm not talking about like a Brock Lesnar who's known for his WWE thing, and then he came into the UFC. I've never seen a fighter that's had only 4 or 5 fights and he's already fighting for the title. So yeah, this is a meteoric rise in the sport. If he does fight Gilbert Burns next and then he fights for the title, I mean that's a massive rise, and it's something incredible to behold, and I'm happy to actually see it. Whether he wins the title and beats Kamaru Usman, that remains to be seen. But even just getting into a position where he's fighting for the title after only less than 5 fights is incredible. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's interesting to see what he does next, and I hope we could be in for a wild ride. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So yeah, tell me what you think below about KHAMZAT CHEMIEV's rise in the sport and within the UFC, and do you think he's going to get a title shot within the next 3 fights? It remains to be seen, but it'll be interesting to see what happens next. So yeah, that's just my opinions. Tell me your opinion below, and like and subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more content coming your way. Peace out.